Thank you so much. I love Congreso Futuro. I like the concept. I like the idea. And I like it even more because it's put together by the Chilean Senate, you know. They are politicians, but by doing this, they actually show you that they care about science. They want to use science to make decisions for the good of all Chileans. So thank you for doing this. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you today about deep sea mining. And first of all, think about it this way. You have some minerals at the seafloor. They call them nodules, you know, not noodles, right? Nodules. I always try to learn how to say this. And some of us want to take big machines down to the seafloor, thousands of meters down, 2,000 plus, to pick up these minerals for us to use. So that is deep sea mining, extracting these minerals from the ground. And of course, that means a lot. So there's a lot of debate. The first thing for you to note is that so far, no deep sea mining is taking place as far as I know. People are exploring. There are companies pushing, countries pushing. So the world is trying to make a decision whether this is a good thing to start with. And so I am an economist. I'm an ocean economist. And so we're going to look at this using the lens of economics. Now, it's a great debate. As I told you, there are proponents, there are people who really support this. They say, we need it. We need it because we need it for the minerals, critical minerals, to help us transition to energy. And there are some who say, look, that system is very complicated. Down in the ocean, there are animals and ecosystems that need to be taken care of also for our own benefit. So that is the kind of debate. Should we do it or should we not do it? And so I tried to give you some quick ideas on the economics of this and what we are thinking. So deep sea mining, like I said, is the extraction of minerals, including rare earth resources from the floor of the ocean, okay? And like I said, there are supporters and those who don't support it. And this idea that we need it for transition to energy, I was on a panel with an engineer. She and her group and other engineers are looking at this supply and demand of the minerals. And according to the lady, the conclusion is that from the engineering point of view, we do have enough of these minerals already in supply to do the transition, and technology is changing. New ways of getting this demand filled are taking place. So please note that. Now, let's pull back and look at our relationship with the ocean. We, the people, when we go to the ocean, what do we do? Or when we go to nature, generally. This is my favorite model. I mean, I boil down the whole thing, simplify a lot. If you look at what we do at the base, we, the people, when we go to the ocean, we take the things we need, the minerals, the fish, whatever, we take it from the ocean into our economy, cultural systems, social systems, do what we do with them, and at the end of the day, we produce waste. And where do the waste go? They go to the ocean, they go to the environment. So from the ocean, good things come, to the ocean, bad things go. And the way we do the taking and the way we do the pumping out of waste, think about plastic waste into the ocean, right? It's very critical. If we overdo both of this, we're going to kill this system, which is so important for our lives and livelihood. I can spend a whole hour telling you the things that the ocean does for us. It's not only the fish, right? It's oxygen, it's all sorts of things, and so absorbing carbon and so on. So the job for all of us is to make sure that we don't overtake and we don't overpollute, so that we can keep this thing going, not only for us, but also for future generations, what I call infinity fish or infinity ocean. Is the title of my book, Infinity Fish, if you want to check it out, where there's more time to explain this. So good to get that in your mind. Now, you think about the deep sea, it's a very special place. There's very little light. There's very little food. The animals there are very economical, more economical than people, because they can't waste much, right? They grow very slowly. They live very long. Some of them live more than people. You have Fish that live for 100 years. I think the Greenland halibut, the Greenland shark lives for more than 400 years, right? So think about it. They live longer than our grandparents. And what I say is that anything that can live more than your grandpa and your grandma, you better leave them alone. You know, they're very complicated. They're down in the ocean. So think about that as we call. Some of us call them the orphans of the ocean because really nobody is there to protect them. Not like Chilean waters. The Chilean government is there to make sure you don't overdo this. All right. So from here, I'm going to share some of the work me and my group are doing to look at the economics of this very quickly. So it's a summary. One of the papers has already been published. One is we got it back from review. We are revising to submit. And the third one is under preparation. And you see, so we have a package to try to look at the economics of this. So this is the title of the first paper: to engage or not to engage in deep sea mining. So we're looking at the literature, surveying what people have said, and so on. And we make a summary of this. This table, this picture tells you. This was the week, about 2 weeks after the paper was published. There's some summary of the metrics there. And in the paper, I think one of the innovations we put in is that usually we talk about, oh, deep sea mining is good for us. It's good for we, the people, it's good for us. And in the paper, we question that. Who are these we? You know, there are different stakeholders in this. Number one, you have the companies. You have the mining companies who want to do this for profit. Great, that's their job. But you also have countries like Chile, like South Africa, like Congo. They are big mining, terrestrial mining countries already. What happens to them, right? You have to think about that. So because if the supply comes in and demand doesn't change, you know, supply and demand, prices are going to go down. Chile will be affected, South Africa. So what is in it for them? And you have countries like the small island developments, they think there's a lot of money. They want to authorize this. What is in it for them? How about nature? How about society? So in the paper, I think that's what you will find interesting. So we kind of talk about the benefit to individual stakeholders, not just we as a whole. And if you think about the environment, actually, this is going to be bad for the deep sea environment know-how. Think about those machines going down. One of the things they do is they create plumes. You know, it's plumes here. And they are like dust. And according to some scientific studies, they are huge. They're just all over the ocean around the mine, and it's dangerous for the fish. Think about dust all over in the ocean, you know. So that's the first thing. To whom is this good for? The companies will make some profit, but almost all the other actors will not see much, and the environment will suffer. So that's paper one. The second paper, we try to look at the risks, economic, social, and environmental risk. And we set up a fuzzy logic analysis because data is an issue here. There's not much data, and that is a principal issue most scientists, most of us are talking about. That before you go down there, messing up with the delicate environment and the delicate animals, you better have enough scientific, economic, and social information to make wise decisions. You don't go there when you don't know much. So that is, we did this, and this is our framework, and the paper I hope will come soon. We're going to send it off within a week back, and we'll see. So we did this analysis, and I just show you one little graph. It's still work in progress. It has not been approved by the journal yet, but just to give you an idea. So we looked at several indicators, and I picked out just 5 of them here. The effect of deep sea mining to coastal ecosystems, the vulnerability, that's the first bar here. So what we did is, with deep sea mining, without deep sea mining, what are the consequences? Looking at many indicators, these are all the 5. So in terms of coastal ecosystems, the vulnerability, relative danger to the coastal ecosystems increases by up to 12, 13, 14%. If you do the mining. And that goes on, you have other indicators. Even the profitability of the blue economy, other sectors like fishing is going to be affected by that, and so on and so forth. You see, there are job implications also, because if you do something that affects negatively another blue economy sector, they are going to be affected. So our whole point here is you have to look at the whole thing comprehensively. You cannot just think of just going to take that mineral without thinking about the implications all through the system. And that's what we're going to report. There's more in the paper when it comes out. The third one, which is ongoing, and this is real and economic study. So first of all, we say, what do we know about the cost-benefit analysis of doing this? What do we know? So we search out the literature. We found a number of papers, 22 papers that have looked at the economics of deep sea mining. And some are from the companies, some are from NGOs. After the 22, only 2 are peer-reviewed, so watch out, right? So this tells you this is not really been checked. So there are 22 of them. And then we had a number of indicators, what we call cost-benefit analysis elements. And there are 4 buckets. You have the pure financial, the cost and the revenue. Then you have the environmental consequences. We have a number of indicators there. You have the social, and we also have option and existence value indicators. All of them 17, okay? So we line up the 22 papers. You have 17 indicators. So if you multiply 17 by 22 or 24, you get about 450, 56 cells that you need information, right? So we check each paper to see which of these they have. And actually, at the moment, we are seeing only 28% of the information that is needed to do a comprehensive economic analysis are contained in the 22 papers. So lots of holes, very little information to make any decision to go. So we did this qualitatively. So in the paper, you see, if you have information about revenue, you take it. If you have information about option value, we take it. If you don't, we leave it blank. That is where the 28% comes from, all right, qualitatively. Now, then we go to the next level. We look at quantitatively. So you can mention option value in your paper, but you have no estimate. So we look at where there are quantities. And when you do that, only 14% of the information you need to make a comprehensive determination are available. A lot of inadequacy here. So for me, that's the biggest problem I see. We don't have information enough to make decisions, not only scientific, but also economic. Now, the third thing we did, and that is ongoing, is that we are aiming to produce the most comprehensive economic analysis ever done on deep sea mining, using all the information we get from the 22 papers and all the indicators. So we've devised a very beautiful way. I love this work so much, I'm thinking it might get into a really very high impact journal. So then we come up with a CBA of all that is really containing all the economic, the financial, the environmental, the social, and the existence value, and then all the elements. And so we're looking at that. I have some preliminary numbers that I'm not necessarily going to share here because it's preliminary. But what it shows, just because you are here, is Congreso Futuro. What we are seeing is that only on the financial side will you see some positive number. On the others, it's all looking negative, and cumulatively, it's a big negative. And we'll do some trade-off analysis and all that, and sensitivity analysis. So that is the series of studies we are doing. One of them is already out. You can check it out and wait in anticipation for the other papers, because I think it's going to shed light a lot to us. Now, some final thoughts. This is where I'm going just off, right, and bringing in some ideas. I think that for we, the people, humanity, to be able to live in harmony with nature and also with other people, with people of the world, we need to abandon the notion that we have the right to take everything everywhere, all at once, as quickly as we can. Actually, some of us think that way. Anything in this world is just for we, the human beings, to just take. I say, come on. We have ethics, we have morals, we have different ways of thinking, indigenous thinking. And in general, we have to find a way to say that even if you can do X, doesn't mean you should necessarily do it. So we have to abandon the notion that we can take everything, everywhere, all at once. You know where that came from, right? It's from the movie that won 7 Academy Awards. I was in the plane flying and I was watching the movie, and the title is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I started watching and said, oh my God, if you do this with the environment, we are in trouble. You're going to take everything, everywhere, all at once. So please, I think this is big. It's difficult to think that this is possible, but I tell you, nothing is impossible. We, the people, can change anything. And the young people actually give me a lot of hope that at some point they will come to realize that the world has to be handled with care. Nature has to be handled with care, and we have to abandon this. All right, and where did I get this from? I have to give you a quote from my own grandfather. You know, when I was young, this is back in Nigeria, West Africa, you know, we love soccer. We love football like Chileans, Latin Americans. So we are there playing. I used to play a lot. I could take the ball through your legs like that, you know? And so we are playing and knocking around, and my grandfather will sit down and say, hey, you guys, just because you can hit the walls and the ground doesn't mean you should do it. You should walk on earth, work on the ground as if it feels pain. Just think about that. I didn't realize this when I was young, but as we grew up, I realized this is really sophisticated environmentalism. Anyone who can walk on earth as if it feels pain will have the key, I think, to living in harmony with nature and with other people. Then you know how to treat people, no matter who they are. Like I told my kids at dinner, I was telling them, as you grow up, when you see anybody, no matter how they look, even if you see a green human being, you should treat them fairly. And my boss said, but Daddy, I've never seen a green person. I say, but that is the point. The day you see one, you treat it. And that's the philosophy of this walking on the ground as if it feels pain. And I think that's what we need to be able to relate with the deep sea and the complicated animals who are there. The good news is, I think the world is listening. So this is, there's already, at the time I got this data, 2023, 24 countries have actually said no deep sea mining in the high seas, you know, where it belongs to all of us. No high seas. Chile is one of them, of course, so you don't want this. At least we need more information. 24, there are some countries that are hanging on this. But then you need pressure, you need political activism to let them realize, number one, we don't have the information to make these decisions. We'll end up making foolish decisions. And I think that this push could be a pipe dream. It's like the gold rushes we heard of. They think there's a lot of money there. You go there and actually you can be disappointed. And there's an evidence of that. I think it's one of the Pacific Island countries actually approved this. And there was an effort to mine, and they've gone bankrupt, and the whole thing has failed. Because it's really complicated to go down there, 2,000 meters, right, with all this equipment to do this way. So my closing remark is, let's walk on earth as if it feels pain, and I tell you, we'll get a better world. As our senator, is it Gilo, who is one of the leaders for this, he keeps saying, one of the problems we have is the whole philosophy of me, I, forgetting society and nature. We have to find a way to change that. Otherwise, we are going to go where we don't want to go. And to be able to do that, we have to bring knowledge from other people, not only the conventional profit knowledge. Profit is important. I'm an economist. But nobody in this room, I believe, makes all your decisions based on profit. We have affection. You don't mess around your grandma or granddad, right? No matter what. It's not about money. That kind of thinking will have to come into the larger decisions we make in order to find harmony with nature. All right? I will just say thank you so much for your attention Thanks to the Senate, to the Congreso people. This is wonderful. Yesterday, I had a meeting, National Academy of Sciences. We have a committee looking at an issue. And I told them about this conference. And I said, I can't wait to see a country like the US organizing Congreso Futuro. That will really contribute to making the world. And this is an inspiration from Chile, so you can be proud of yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you.